Once again, it's DJ Jay Ronan. He with Danny Diablo, Diablo's Way,
That's
the
me,
official
guys.
mixtape. If you don't have it, buy the shit.
DJ Jay Ronan. Brooklyn, Queens, baby. Yo, juxtapose.
Eat a dick.
My nigga. Bitch ass. That's hard, dude. Mixtape this first guy.
Let's get in that first joint, y'all. Let's go.
I'm a lion. Creature of the night. Murder that pussy. Shit ain't right. Full moon. The tides are turning. Silver bullets. My blood's burning. I'm a killer. The leader of the pack. Underworld. We never look back. Shape-shifting. Cursed and torn. Gothic horror. The beast is born. All right.
What up, what up?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Welcome back to Diablo's Den Podcast, Episode 3.
Number 3.
We're back after a little bit of a holiday break.
Yes.
Enjoying Thanksgiving
Happy
and
New
Christmas.
Year's.
So Happy New Year to everybody.
Happy New Year's, everyone. Happy New Year, whatever it's called.
Happy Hanukkah.
We're excited
Merry
to be
Christmas.
back. Right? We're excited to be back.
Welcome back, Spectre. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I was just going
Shabbat
to
shalom.
start.
Juan Epstein.
You read my mind. You read my mind.
Juan Epstein.
Welcome
back.
So if you guys have been listening to the
Welcome
past
back.
couple episodes, you know that we have a certain little a certain drill we like to go, and we're going to start that with plugging our sponsor. As always, Isaac, what do we got?
Oh, we have Diablo's Dark Roast on Oak and Crow Coffee. I have my own coffee company, coffee line.
Yeah.
Diablo's Dark Roast.
So
Like
that's
Bustelo.
right.
Like Bustelo.
I'm a Bustelo.
So
man.
like,
But, yo, it's good like Bustelo.
Like a banged out Bustelo.
Banged out Bustelo. Like Bustelo was doing mad coke all night.
It's Hood Bustelo.
so here's the
Hood
deal. If you
Bustelo.
guys go to oakandcrow.com and you use discount code DMS, you'll save 10%. So
And
you
the
want
feds
to
will-
check out.
And the feds will look at your shit for the next 6 months.
And you're
Booyaka, booyaka.
you're gonna want to check out all their stuff. The other thing too is that we've gotten a lot of emails and questions about overseas orders, right? So
Overseas, listen, if you want to buy the Diablo's Dark Roast online, please hit Oak and Crow online, oakandcrow.com.
just send our guy Jake over a message. He already said he's waiting for you guys. He's more than happy to make it
Yeah.
happen.
And
Use the discount
Bother
code.
him because
Yup.
I need more money because I need child support. I pay child support.
Yeah, hook him up. Hit him up on oakandcrow.com.
Life.
And
life.
yeah,
Life.
so we're gonna kick in. So Isaac, introduce who we got real
So
quick. We got some
listen,
guests today.
this is episode number 3, the Graf edition. These guys are more than graffiti writers, but I know these guys. The first time interacting with these guys, both of them, is graffiti because these guys were killing shit when I was a kid, and I basically looked up to them, and I still do look up to them in everything business. I ask them questions first because these guys been doing it. So right now, I want to introduce you to 2 important staples in the graffiti world and the music world and the behind-the-scenes reality TV. This in the street level too. This is right now Mr. Kaves from Lordz of Brooklyn.
My brother. Number 9.
and my man, and the Bronx right there. BX at his best. My man Med from Tuff City,
BX.
Brooklyn and Bronx.
So we're really excited to have our guests here
Yeah.
today. You know, so real quick, you know, too, I just want to go over a couple things that, you know, over the holiday break, we had a really big thing happen in our community.
Yes,
So
yes,
on
yes.
back in December, we had on Showtime, The Godfather's a Hardcore Film by
Yeah.
Ian McFarlane.
Yeah.
On Showtime.
So that's streaming right now on Showtime.
And
Make sure you check it out. You know?
Check. Listen, if you don't know about, this movie is amazing. It's about a Nazi front. It's really about fucking Roger Moret
And Stigma.
Vinny Stigma. 2 guys who ruined my life because of hardcore music. I love these guys. Vinny Stigma is the godfather of hardcore. One of the best from Little Italy, born and raised, still lives out there. Roger, straight from Cuba, lives in Arizona now. But Nazi front been around since 82?
Yeah. I mean, it was crazy because I think
crazy.
even if you don't come from the hardcore scene, you could
can
watch
relate,
this
you
movie
can
and
relate.
relate. Like, for those that don't know about me, I'm obviously Cuban. My parents came over from Cuba.
Yeah.
My mom watched that film, and she like could totally relate. Roger's story. So it was. I definitely urge everybody to go out and watch this. There's a 7-day free trial. So sign up for Showtime. Check out the movie. Review that stuff.
Ian did an amazing job, and I must say, like, when people from our scene, especially punk rock scene, hardcore scene, and they do something, support them. Don't be fucking bitches and fucking like, oh, I could do better. Like they complain. Then do your own fucking film. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. No, but good film though.
Yeah,
really,
it's a
really.
really good
fucking
film.
Stigma is just
Stigma is the man.
just a one of a kind person that you can't recreate in life.
My Stigma calls my mother to this day every time. I'll tell you a story about Stigma, right? So when I was younger, and I was like, I got signed to Profile Records, whatever, with Crown Thorns. And when I started doing hip hop shit, Stigma used to prank my mom's house when I was living there and say it was Russell Simmons. And my mom would be like, Russell Simmons called. And I'd be like, wait, give me the number. I was a little kid, you know this before. And I'd be like, oh shit. And Russell Simmons on the phone, Danny, get run up. And be Stigma like, ha ha. That's how fucked up he is. Love you, Stigma.
Shout out to Stigma.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the footage that, the archival footage that they used in that film that Ian got was unreal. Seeing like the rabies stuff.
Rabies, rest in peace, and Todd Youth, rest in peace. And
Yeah.
seeing that footage is like those dudes were the generation before me, and they paved the way for our generation.
Yep.
You know?
So again, we're going to urge everybody today. I know I usually plug some bands and records, but I really wanted to just highlight again, as someone who grew up, looking up to like AF as a band. My band's covered AF. I mean, man, this movie was awesome. So please go out, watch it, support it, review it, share it. Just make sure you get the word out. We, as a community, need to help. Like Ezek said, instead of talking shit about things, like let's get behind everything, support each other, because it only opens up the doors for everybody else. So that's all I want to say about that. What did you watch over the break, E? Because I know you've been busy.
I've been really busy. What have
you been watching anything? Listen to anything? I know you dropped. Do you want to talk?
Oh yes.
Bird Box.
Oh, all right. I know what Med wants to talk about.
No, not really. But I'm just saying that's what everyone's watching.
I dropped a new mixtape with Danny Diablo and DJ Jay Reason. Diablo's Way mixtape. Who makes CDs? Well, yeah, it's basically if you got me over here. The CD right there, say like me sniffing a whole bunch of cocaine. Then like this. Oh, look, my face in the cocaine.
I love it.
Like that.
No shame in
What
the
a
game.
coincidence.
Listen, that's branding 101.
Branding, but listen, I guess on this mixtape, I'll tell you right now, Joe Fado, Diesel, DJ Kaz,
Yeah.
Gosh, BX.
Yeah.
Shaz New York, Gore-Tex from Nonfiction. I got Script Keeper, Frank Knight. I got production by DJ Muggs, Thurston Howell. I got Sadat X. I got LG. I got Creature, Sad Kills, Tony Slippers. I got who else? Black Dave and Chubbs. And DJ Ronan and DJ Kaz. I got what? What's up, guys?
Oh, Soul Assassins?
Yeah, I got Level 13, shout out to Level 13. Beat Butcher, shout out to DJ Muggs, Chuck LaWayne. Hold on, there's more people here.
So Dot X, brand new.
Yeah.
That's the old school.
Quiz Star, I got mad
Keep it
people.
relevant.
Yo, DannyDiablo.bandcamp.com. Buy my shit. That's it. That's fuck this shit. Let's talk about these guys.
All right, Med. Over the break, so over the holidays, listening to anything, watched anything good? We always like to tell our listeners, as you know, you've been keeping up with us, encourage them to check out some new shit.
Well, like I said, the whole Bird Box thing was just a phenomenon, so I had to watch it.
What did you?
Was it good?
It was all right. I mean, the ending was kind of like, whatever. It is what it is.
Don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up, people.
But I'm not gonna spoil it. But yeah, as far as that is,
Production by Lordz.
Narcos. I just finished doing
I love
the
that.
whole El Chapo Narcos, so that was kind of cool.
So-
And that he's here in New York, like on trial, it makes it even more like interesting in that sense. But and music, I'm just an old dude, so I'm always with my old classic favorites, Suicidal
All right.
Tendencies, How Will I Laugh?
Yeah.
Madball Set It Off.
Yeah.
Hate Breed Supremacy is like my running and exercise music, and then I Tool is like the go-to. So I got a whole iPod full of music, and I'm always with the same albums
Yeah.
over and over. Pucifer, it's like how do you have so much music and you listen to the same ones over and over? But it's just cool. It works
just
for me.
is what it
so
is.
It works.
Caves.
What you
Yo.
listen to?
What's been going on? Shit.
What you been listening
Yeah,
to?
like over November, December. What over the holiday break? Did you find yourself
Music-wise,
watching
music-wise.
anything or binging on some new
Frank
music?
Sinatra,
Frank Sinatra.
Tony Bennett.
Yo, man, it's just fucking. I've been in that been sick through the holidays.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I got 4 germ-spreading fucking kids that basically I went.
That's
to,
why
to
I'm
keep
keeping
it
a distance
to keep, yo,
from
to
you.
Yeah.
keep it 100. It was like gingerbread house making it like PS 104. my daughter, my daughter.
That just sounds
yeah,
like a germ thing
Yeah,
waiting
yeah.
to
My daughter
happen.
Ruby's like, Dad, you got to come up and mom's mom's editing a movie right now for Sasha Jenkins, right?
Oh,
so
cool.
for Mass Appeal, right?
Yeah,
So I've
Sasha
been-
Jenkins.
So
Shout out to Sasha.
I've been playing at Mary Poppins, fucking Daddy Daycare. I've been that dude again. And
Yep.
you remember when I had that TV show, how fucking it was like Little Quinn and in the car. I'm back to doing that because I get called up to make a gingerbread house. And,
Such is life.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Keep it real.
well, it's
Yo,
happening.
but listen,
Great.
but it's. I wouldn't trade it for
And
any
you're giving-
treasures.
you're giving
treasures in
what
the
you can
world,
handle
man.
in
Listen,
life. That's the
listen.
way it works.
It's like this. It's like whatever success you reach, and we're gonna get on all this
Yeah.
self-help shit right now. it's nothing quite like showing up at what's she in the 3rd grade now, 2nd grade? I don't even know grade she's in right now because that's how much time passes real quick
Yep.
with these. And to show up for her and the look on her face when I walk in the door is like, yo, I can't recreate. I can't. It doesn't matter what piece of music or piece of art I conjure up or and my life's work. It's pretty much right there in that little gingerbread house.
DNA.
And then 2 days later, I'm fucking sick as a dog at Christmas, fucking pissing out my ass and because those little fuckers they spread germs quick. But yeah, that's what I've been up to lately.
Damn.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Well, this is we didn't even do the Oak and Crow fucking thing.
Yes, you
No,
did.
we did.
No, I have a song. Oak and
Well, you know what? Then let's do it.
Crow.
All right.
Go ahead, do
There-
it.
It's all right. Listen. All right, so check this out. I'm gonna fuck with that shit, bro. I gotta give a few shout outs before we go crazy. I want to give a shout out to Moose Knuckle Furs, Canada, for hooking me up with a dope fur jacket.
$2,000.
$2,000 jacket for free.
You blinging.
The drip?
Drip.
He's blinging.
Shout out to Pumps in Brooklyn.
Pumps.
Yeah. 1089 Grand Street, Pumps in Brooklyn. Go out there. Tell them that Danny Diablo sent you.
All right. So,
Where do you get a pumps?
A lap dance.
All right. Cool.
All right.
all right. So let's kick off the episode. Go ahead.
All
You
right.
dive into.
So
your-
let's talk about how Caves, how me and you met.
Man.
Do you remember?
Yo,
you remember
I mean,
where it was?
listen, you know what? We got to go back. We got to pick the round, what year and what time. But I remember the support that we got from you, first and foremost, from everything. Because it was tough. Like Lordz of Brooklyn.
They don't know personally that what we went through,
Right.
And that was the time we came out.
Right.
And
Right.
when I
Right.
saw,
A lot of track. You know, I mean, listen. If you do the research,
Yeah.
a lot of real New York. Paying our dues, grinding, and then in a New York minute, family tragedies
Yeah.
and a lot of that dark days that get you to be that sparks the
Fire.
motivation and the fire to fucking make you go to war, and that was the deal. Like Lords of Brooklyn, paying our dues for a very, very long time, and then get to that moment where it's your time, and to go out there and to be, like a little bit of ahead of your time or whatever. If it wasn't the right time, you're trying to build a community to support your music and say, like, at that point, it was like the let's put it like, let's keep it real. White rap groups weren't fucking very much loved, and there was only enough of them to count on your hands. And when we were coming up, we were trying to play those places, and we got our respect. But respect and love is different, right? Respect is, you get it for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
But love is only for one fucking reason. That's love, right?
Yeah. Right.
So when when we were looking for places to play, and it ran its course. Like we for whatever reason we were getting blacklisted and we were getting pushed around in the sense that people didn't want to play our shit or support our stuff because whatever the reason was, maybe it was just wasn't the right timing, or maybe we were just too real for
Too raw.
too raw.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I don't.
Because we would play. We bring our people from our neighborhoods. You know what I mean?
Right. And you know what? It was intimidating at the time. But it was like I said, we bunch of piss and vinegar and a fire because we just want to represent for our part of the neighborhood and to see. So, long story short, to see the love and support we got from that CBGB spot with this kid on stage, fucking rocking a Lordz of Brooklyn T-shirt with a fucking fiery red hair, fucking scary as a motherfucker. I was like, all right, like you get love in the wildest places, and that was Ezak. It's like didn't care what neighborhood we came from, didn't care what politics or whatever graffiti background or nonsense. He just knew he was into the music, and he was into
love, street shit. Street shit. You know what I mean?
Street love.
Street love. A lot of people.
Street justice.
A lot of people like would want to like want to sign us for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Like it was really weird, but the thing is, like we played hard music and we played to hard crowds, bro. Man. You know what I mean? Like, and we always showed the crowd love, and the crowd loved us. Like the real people, like people that love our music. Are people who work in the sanitation and DOT and construction,
blue collar.
They love us, and they have the same problems we have, man. And that's what's so cool. When I'm not on tour, I'm not doing when I'm not rocking $2,000 jackets and
Moose Knuckle. Shout out to Moose Knuckle.
When I'm not on tour or studio, whatever. I work my boy Vinny Ali in the construction, okay? And the thing is, like every day when I'm on the L train or the J train or E whatever, and I'm on construction sites, people come up. The people that work with me hate me because first of all, I'm like the flag guy. You know, they're ditches, taking ditches. I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know?
YMCA.
The Jew is the flag guy, and the other guys are the laborers. Is that how it is?
Listen. But the funny thing is that people come up to me and take pictures. Oh, Danny Diablo. They take pictures, and the people don't understand. They were like, why the fuck is this guy? I'm on Evergreen and Knoll, and like 20 times people take pictures of me, and they bug the fuck out. They're like, yo, people stop other construction workers like, yo, Danny Diablo.
That's awesome.
And that's the love, and that's the only thing that keeps me going every day. That's someone stops me and says, yo, your music put me through some hard times, and I love your music. I can't wait. I'm like, yeah, because most of the time, fuck these little motherfuckers. I'm gonna quit, get a regular fucking job. I have insurance. I'm gonna have insurance now.
Like when they can't follow directions on how to download your new music.
I fucking hate that. And then again, I can't do that. So I don't understand why I get so mad. But the thing is, it's like the love from people keep me going. That's it. The love.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
And your music, though, not to interrupt you, Mike, but your music and your lyrics
for retards.
Touch people sometimes. No. Listen, then we're all retards in that sense. You know? But when you say something that touches somebody in the situation they're going through, then they feel a connection with you, and that you actually get them through what they go. It's happened with me in my life with suicidal tendencies and How Will I Laugh. That shit really got me through times in my life that was really difficult, and so. You know that's important to people, and it means a lot. And you don't know it until you meet the fan
over the world
that tells you like, "Wow, you touch me," and then you know it's worth it what you're doing. You know.
Wait, what's that, guys?
Hey, y'all remember 2000 when y'all made the motherfucking Scarhead 2000 a Thug Odyssey?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
PSK.
Oh yeah, PSK.
PSK. Yeah, and listen.
Puerto Rican Mike, shout out to Puerto Rican Mike.
Listen, well, we built a relationship from being from those outside parts of the neighborhood that weren't as popular as the inner parts, or where like the outside fringe parts that had a scene, had a hip hop scene, a hardcore scene. But in my part of town, the hip hop scene was definitely it was on shaky grounds for us to come up in that neighborhood and to believe in something like hip-hop and being b-boys and graffiti writers. We were able to expand like-minded kids that wanted a scene and loved the culture and loved the fucking music, but was alienated from going into the city and the clubs that was because it was like it was the segregation that went on in just the fact that you came from that part of the neighborhood. Like, I get it, and I know why, and there's a lot of and there's a right for it, but there was kids that was open to it, and they were there for ripe for a time in their life to change this kind of mentality of being, let's say, that old school way of being fucking racist and bigoted because they were afraid.
Yeah, they're
right?
afraid. That's it.
And we weren't this music to us was our rock and roll, just like our parents had Zeppelin and Hendrix and hip hop was. So we had to make our name for ourselves. So you get looked at. Are you just another culture vulture? Are you just another group of kids that are trying to get on and whitewash it or do whatever the politics is? But when you're true and you just do it for the love of it, you find other like-minded people, and we found them in the hardcore scene because hardcore kids love hip hop as well.
Oh, yeah.
But
Graf.
and had to make a scene of their own, and in that little club. So it was, remember Coney Island High?
Yeah.
We were rocking together in Coney Island. So we found, if these guys were doing hardcore, we were doing hip hop. We found a nice way to mesh it together, and it broke down doors and opened up people's minds to change their mind, because a lot of people that were hating on us weren't people weren't the brothers or Puerto Rican cats. It was other white kids that wanted to be the only white kid that was down with the culture. So they had the power, and they were the ones the gatekeepers. We're not letting those those Cougine cats from fucking Bay Ridge come in. We might have we got chased out of the neighborhood. No, you didn't get chased out of the neighborhood. Stop bullshitting. I know everybody got chased and what reason they got chased in the first place. It's it was just a lot of people with insecurities, and when they see a bunch of real cats coming up from fucking real roots, single parents, fucking graffiti background, b-boys, it's hard to swallow. So they were so we needed to find acceptance, and we found it in the hardcore culture.
And not for anything, being Italian rappers, you guys were before. There's a few I know that friends of mine like G Fella, but you guys were before G Fella.
Listen,
there's also there was the Shark from Mars Park, which man loves the Shark.
Right.
But what's the other guy? Pellegrino was later on. I mean, they're like, but you guys were before those people.
Yeah, everybody has amnesia and shit. They forget quick. The truth is, and this is the truth. It's that record was our Saturday Fever record broke worldwide.
Yeah.
But in a cult way. It wasn't top. Nirvana and Biggie was on the radio at the time.
Yeah.
If you weren't grunge, and if you weren't Funkadelic, Snoop, you were not getting played on the radio. So you had to go out there and bust your fucking ass to get any recognition. And the Lordz of Brooklyn got recognition worldwide. Yeah. Yes, the group is made up of these group of kids fucking from Brooklyn. With all nationalities and backgrounds. The majority was Italian and Irish. The majority, but I said, man, when you're a Brooklyn, New York kid, you got everything. I got the UN, in growing up, it's all of that New York culture. You put it in our band, and that was our Sunday sauce. And we, obviously, when it was time for us to do our record, we're not gonna act. We weren't gonna walk the fucking fake. We were gonna talk the talk and walk the walk from our neighborhood. If it was graffiti, if it was the gangster shit that was going on in our neighborhood, or it was
D, remember?
Or it was something that hard knock white trash shit that just growing up in a neighborhood where
stealing cars, Benzie boxes,
Benzie box. Yeah, so there you go. So if you're gonna be mad at us, get mad that your Benzie box got stolen. That's about it. Chains. Yes. But that's And
It wasn't me.
And I'm a little under the weather. Like I said, I got the flu and shit. But this is it's 25 something years later. You know, and we're still around.
And we played Europe together. We do
man.
We're Madball, the Scarhead. It's
we had a lot of good times.
I'm happy that it's crazy that for me I would never
listen.
Out of Queens.
Pioneers usually get the arrows and the settlers get the land. Yeah. When you got to understand, you got to think about all these little subcultures and these little fringe movements that happened under you know, obviously hip hop and hardcore, they're big movements, but really, if you want to go on that territorial, like Warriors type shit, when you go into the different neighborhoods and you go to people who made noise around the world, Lords of Brooklyn fucking rang bells.
Yeah.
For sure. Facts.
Yo, just as a side note, I'm coming here today.
Yes.
I'm driving to the train with my girl in the car.
Hopefully not now.
And I'm telling her who I'm going to be on the show with.
Right.
And she's like, she pulls up your album, but like the first album you ever did.
Right.
Not the recent shit, not graffiti rock or
Right.
the later.
All in the family.
All in the
All
family.
in the family.
Yeah.
And she's like, yo, I listen to it all the time. And I'm like, what are
Come
the odds
on.
in life? Like, think about this, though. Like, what are the odds in life that she got your album so many years ago that it's still in her fucking iTunes, like, playlist?
Yo,
and then she says she always listens to it still.
Yo.
And I was like, wow, like, the universe is crazy how that, it's like that. That's how things work out. Like, she is really, you're in her playlist. And
You know,
it's like,
I mean,
wow, like, there you go, Lords of
Chris,
Brooklyn.
You make, listen. we
Shout out to Lords of Brooklyn.
I appreciate it. I don't want to get into, like, you know, like this is like the self-promotion fucking thing, but
Yeah. Well, it's my show. You can do whatever you want to
listen,
do.
I'm going to show you
Promote
guys.
your shit.
I'm going to show you guys something.
Guys, if
like,
you're in my girl's playlist, I'll fuck you up, nigga.
yo,
You derelict.
yo,
Ba 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 ba.
here.
Booyaka.
Yeah, I'm gonna bug out, right? So, you know, you sit around, and most of the times, like, if you're fucking from this kind of like OCD creative fucking type that is not really fucking happy unless you're doing the next fucking
next
movie
project,
or the
right,
next
the next
project.
project.
It's what makes us all. We could all agree on it. It's like our obsession. It's our disease.
Yeah.
And you do these things, and that record to us was like heartache and pain of like growing up from little kids in, you know, hard knock life to the point we got our first major record deal. So all the you know, the blood, sweat, and tears went in that, and you're like, well, what the fuck? It went, you know, it didn't go gold. It went wood. You know, like it didn't go platinum.
But she's listening to it in her
right, no,
playlist
right,
right
no.
now, dude.
So you're always hard on yourself because you always like try to judge your success over like a monetary kind of like, you know, gauge, right? But when you start like, you know, fast forward 25 years later and you hear stories about this person got to this time in their life that was fucking hard, you know, like they couldn't, you know, they needed that inspiration. You were that source, then you're like, fuck it. That was like a feather in the cap, right?
Right.
But walking down the street, I'm fucking in my neighborhood, like in Sunset Park, and I see this construction worker fucking walking, right?
Yeah.
Typical dude, you know, taking his lunch break, and then I'm like, yo, is that what I think it is? And on his hard hat, he's got that Lords of Brooklyn sticker from 1990.
That's awesome.
1995. I'm like, see, Ma, we made it, Ma. Yeah.
1992?
90 what?
What was that?
That
95,
that's
right?
95.
95.
Yeah.
Yo, you know what's a crazy thing though in this whole situation
Tell me,
is
man.
that it's because of you, Mike, that I met Tavi and I met Corey and I ended up meeting Isaac. So if it wasn't for me like working with you and doing things with you, I wouldn't even kind of been introduced to the situation. I was a hardcore fan before I met these
and
guys,
likewise.
just from my life.
Well, I
and
mean, listen,
what I listened to.
we-
But
Real recognize real. That's all.
Listen,
it's really
and
crazy
I
how
say that-
ties like things
Yeah,
tied
yeah.
together.
and it wasn't for Met, I wouldn't have been tattooing.
Yeah.
So it's like we
It's
all
crazy.
we-
It's really
And it's
crazy.
it comes from this dysfunctional, crazy
Yes.
New York City family,
Yes.
and it starts off with the graffiti, right?
Right.
Starts off with graffiti.
Starts off with the
graffiti
graffiti.
is the gateway
Right.
to crimes.
It was for me. It caused me a lot of heartache in my life.
Med,
It's,
now
it's
listen.
pain and pleasure. In the same,
Med,
in
let's talk about.
Let's give Med a little background for our
Med,
listeners who don't know.
Explain when you started graffiti,
okay.
what year, and tell who you were bombing with, and also from there, tell them how did you get where you went to high school.
Okay, I'm gonna try to keep it brief so we can share the spotlight, me and Mike.
Go.
But
so good.
but so basically, my life with graffiti in a nutshell was when I was like 12, I got sent to a group home, and when I was in a group home, I was in Westchester in a group home, and on the weekends they would call it a city visit, and they would take you in the bus to Grand Central, give you a token and a couple of dollars to get home to your family for the weekend, and then on Sunday you had to go back to Grand Central to meet the bus to go back to the group
So
home.
you missed the bus all the time.
Well, no, but I took the token instead of taking the 5 train, which
Yeah.
was like 5 blocks from my house.
Yeah.
I took the 4 train, which was like I had to take a bus from the 4 train to get home. But the reason why I did that is because the 4 train had so much graffiti on it, and I was just amazed by it that every weekend I would go home and look at this graffiti and sit home and draw it. And my friends that I grew up with in my neighborhood, they thought I was a hoodlum because I was in a group home, so they disassociated themselves with me. So on my weekends at home, like it's like, okay, you can go home now, but I had no friends because they all thought I was a hoodlum. So all I did every weekend was draw graffiti and go back to the group home and show people, and they were like, wow, that looks great. And that's what sparked it in the sense of graffiti, you know, for me.
Right.
That's really what really brought it about, and that's where the graffiti thing started, you know?
And let's talk about right now. How did you get into tattooing from the graffiti? How that changed?
So the graffiti thing was when they let me
Quick
out.
plug to Tuff City. Plug the shop real quick.
Shout out to Tuff City.
Shout out to Tuff City.
Tough City.
Up in the Bronx.
Up in the Bronx.
My people.
Tell me exactly.
Yeah, give a plug, man, real quick to the shop.
Right by Arthur Ave.
Okay, 650 Fordham Road, Tough City. 25 years.
Yes,
in business.
baby.
We're a quarter of a century in business.
Hold up.
And this is our life, you know.
I remember the first Tuff City up the hill.
Yeah, well, that was a lot
Yeah,
of
remember
years
that one?
ago.
Remember that? Yeah, I remember that too. I remember that.
A lot of years ago. But so basically, the group home got me into looking at the graffiti and drawing the graffiti, and all my friends that I grew up with cut me off because they thought I was a hoodlum. So on my weekends, I was home drawing, and then I went back to the group home, and they loved the graffiti.
Yeah.
And then so when the group home let me out at 14, they said, okay, you could go home and you could start high school, and we're gonna put you here in high school. The minute I went to high school, I was drawing, and people were like, oh, you can draw graffiti. We know where the trains are, and that was it. I had to buy paint. I had to buy somebody paint from Martin's Paints on Gun Hill Road to bring me to Baychester layup. But I bought the paint, and I said, show me where it is, and that was it. That was.
And who were your partners when you were bombing?
I had no partners at that time because I was only 14. The first event I had in graffiti was at Baychester, and it was Ross and Caban, MPC.
Yes.
Caban was sniffing glue, and I was 14 years old in a layup with
Bronx,
dudes sniffing glue, and these like white, like crazy rocker dudes, and the layup was like you could just walk up. It was so easy. You could walk up the hill, and it's like here's the trains parked. Like there was no fences, no security, and I was just like amazed, like oh my god, this is like a world in itself. And,
That's so
and that
awesome.
just opened up, like everything in my life changed from that moment because it was like, wow, you could paint trains and you could, it was crazy. It was really a chain of events that led me to that time when I first hit the train that really just.
And when you started hitting the trains, that's when you met PJ and all these guys.
Like just from writing graffiti, and Mike could even attest to that you meet certain people, they go to certain spots, you learn different spots, you get down with different crews.
You live a lot of lives in one summer.
There's an underlying network of people in the graffiti world that regular society doesn't even understand. Like everybody drives every day, and they drive their cars and they see like throw ups and tags and everything, and they see graffiti, but they see it for the surface of what it is of like tags, and they don't understand.
They don't know
the culture.
The hell our parents dealt with. Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's a culture in itself, and it's like the people and the crews, and it's like it's a world in itself.
There was thousands. People don't understand it now. Like the new writers, they don't understand. New York City, early
they
80s.
could never understand.
Yo, fucking Warzone. They don't understand. There was thousands of graffiti writers, man. And to even put a dent in that, to even become recognized amongst your peers, was a fucking full-time job.
And we did it for nothing but recognition from our peers. Not for money.
The love of it.
There was no money involved. There was nothing.
Well, there was one thing. There was one thing that was involved was fame, right? Fame was the only payoff. But
it was fame to the people
that
wouldn't pay you anything for that.
No.
But that would acknowledge you.
But
so they would acknowledge you, and you would be like, I made it. Like when Cap put me down with MPC, that to me was the day that Big shout out to Cap, man. God bless. But when he put me down with MPC, it was in Baychester. I'll never forget. It's like a memory embedded in my mind. It was like I reached the pinnacle because all these guys you look up to, like Duster, I watched him in Star Wars.
Shout out to Duster.
Like, oh my! Shout out to Duster. Nicky, my boy. But it was like I watched him in Star Wars, and then to actually be friends with him and have him respect what I'm doing was like, I did it. I made it. Like, and it wasn't monetary. Like, there was no money. Like, for somebody to say, I acknowledge you, it wasn't like they paid you $1 million.
We didn't care about
It was
money.
like just them acknowledging
We
you.
hopped,
Like,
we hopped the turnstile. We racked
crazy,
out. We racked
crazy
out
time.
lunch. Yeah,
And you know what? That in the world of graffiti, as global as it has become, these guys that write in all these countries, and I've been around the world painting with guys, they don't understand what we had when we had it with the trains and the way it was.
I know, but it was like a full-time career, and you
Yes.
had to put in like work.
Yes.
You had to put in like the overtime, and well, let me
poor
tell you,
parents, man.
Yo, but I'll tell you, man.
Yes,
Yeah.
my
mother.
Jewish parents.
My mother.
Visiting me in prison. And
About-
fucking- yo, I was like, I wasn't a mensch. I was the worst.
Yo.
But
Yo,
Hey, yo, Med, I remember my pops used to take me to, to his job and shit on the weekends. He used to drive me to work. I used to look at the walls on the fucking West Side Highway. I used to see the fucking stars everywhere. Mad. I used to be like, what the fuck is that? Like 15 years old. Like, who's that? Look.
Yeah.
But that's
Look
that's
right
why
there.
we did it.
And
And
the-
like, are you paying me right now? No, right? Like, right? You're not paying me right now, right? So it's not for money. It's for that
recognition.
It's just for that.
Right.
that
and yeah,
made
listen,
it,
like, and to go back a little bit, like people like they don't understand. Right now, the internet, you can post, you can get on.
Oh, my
you
God.
get on your Procreate and get off on it, and come up with a burner, and then post it to 1,000 people. I'm like a fiend, over the holidays. but to tell you the truth, man, it was a full-time job as a 12-year-old kid, as
Oh, my
an
God.
11-year-old kid, taking on that kind of like focus. And you want to talk about street marketing and campaigning.
Yeah.
But not only did you write on the trains, because the trains were hard to write on. It wasn't as simple
Other
as people
people's
think.
neighborhood. Other people's neighborhood.
Beef, mad beef. Now check this out.
Oh, my God.
But not only bombing trains, you also had to bomb buses. You also had to
Sanitation
you also
trucks.
you also had to do handball courts.
I love handball courts.
You had to
Big
do
shout out to Spawn, Sanitation King, robbing everybody at the Wall of Fame, robbing everyone's cameras. Big shout out to Spawn.
You got
Hey, yo, can I say something?
Yeah.
What's up? What you want to say?
Beef, graffiti beef, will never end, right?
No.
It doesn't end. It's recent.
But the truth is now, but now graffiti's different. There's like a different kind of graffiti
They-
writer. There's like a weekend warrior.
They're all
They-
pussies.
It's not like it's like not to be.
They're street artists now.
Listen,
That's what it is. They're
Hold up.
street artists.
listen.
Hold
but
up.
check it. I want to just put a little foundation down about it. It's like this. It's like to write in that. Listen, in the '70s, I give them mad props. The pioneers,
Right.
I give them mad
Yep.
props. But in the '80s, shit started getting really vicious.
Yeah,
there wasn't
horrible.
there was no love, peace, and like it was the hippie
No,
generation
no.
movement was
Problems,
far gone.
problems.
New York was broke like a motherfucker, and most everybody else was, and it was like kill to be killed. It was like gladiator school.
Yeah,
Yo,
no,
he was a
hold
glad.
up, hold
like,
up.
yeah, yeah.
I know a guy, right? He used to fuck this girl, right? And he used to put his name on the girl's fucking headboard.
All right,
Like,
stop
I
that.
was here.
All right, we're trying to keep this G rated.
He's talking about me. He's talking about me. Yeah, he's talking about me.
Is that you?
Yeah, me. Yo,
King of the
listen.
headboards?
King of the headboards. I'm bang out. I'm not gonna say no names because I squash people and people who passed away, and I wanted to. But I used to be like, I used to go to niggas' girlfriends, bang their. My girl's gonna listen to this and hate me, but bang their bitch and I catch the tag. So later on at Christmas, we're doing Christmas presents. And under the bed, they see my tag, and I ruined Christmas for them.
Yeah.
That's how my beef was.
But yo, in the but seriously, in the '80s, it was kind of like, in the '90s, it was like, I wanted a piece and I wanted to do nice shit that I was capable of
You're
doing.
dope. Both of you guys are
but
really
there was
dope.
problems all the time, and it was like, you want to do colors and you want to do nice like whole cars and window downs, but you got problems and beef with people, and you just got to handle that. And it's like, that's part of graffiti too. Like what people don't understand right now is like, you could call yourself a street artist and say, oh, I do murals, I do buildings. But when we grew up, it was like, you could be doing a beautiful color piece on a train,
And
and,
you had
your shit's crossed out.
Yes,
and then you got to
and
be
you-
like, I
and
got
Meg-
my boys, we got to go
And
to
Meg,
this spot.
you only
and-
had a half an hour to do it.
Yes,
At most.
that's another thing too. Like the
Yeah.
guys nowadays, they have the caps are
Yo,
like
and
amazing.
listen.
The
So many
equipment that
supplies and
the
paint,
equipment
yeah.
they use is like so geared towards doing
Yo,
this super fine stuff. when we were doing it
Yeah,
on the trains,
caps.
it was like you got to do it quick. Like I've
in
gone to
and
spots
out,
that
in
pulled
and
out in
out,
10
in and
minutes,
out,
and it's like
in and out.
leaving, and you're like halfway done. And
There
you're
was a
like,
spot in
fuck.
Queens we used to go to listen to this spot. It was like on Fresh Pond. And not
On
the
the
yard.
M,
It was on the M. It was
by
like
Christ the King,
It was
by
the
Christ-
last stop
Yeah,
on the M.
by Christ the
And this is
King.
how
A
crazy
pull in,
this
pull
was.
out.
Yeah, yeah,
Pull in
It's
and
a
pull out.
pull out.
So the
205 was
By
like
the
that.
freights,
Yeah.
by the freights, by
Yeah.
By the freights.
cemetery.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Dyer was
So
like
me,
that.
me, Revs, and there was a kid from Queens named Stress that Revs was cool
Yeah.
with, and then basically that shit would pull into the train station. You would have fucking 15 minutes
Yeah.
while they waited for whatever. You start piecing it, and then you would have to wait an hour for it to come back. So you basically had 15 minutes at a time to create like an end to end.
Yeah.
So around this time, like in the early 80s, mid 80s, so let's say early 80s, like 82, 83, 84, around that time, the beef and the fact that the transit police and everybody was fucking, they knew where you were, what layup was always hot.
Yeah.
So you didn't have this full fucking production kind of thing.
Yo, listen,
You didn't have this shit.
I want to tell you something right now. All right, I want to tell you, people get mad at me, but this is how I grew up. I'm from Jackson Heights, Queens. I'm mixed. My mother's Puerto Rican, basically Puerto Rican black. My father's Jewish, right? So, yeah. So I represent Jackson Heights.
Who deal?
I represent Jackson Heights my whole life. And being from Queens, we're a certain way. You know, Brooklyn, Bronx, certain way. So basically, my thing was always like, when I see people will get mad at this, but we'll laugh about this. When I see the nice Instagram, from this guy's from Poland and he has protractors and fire glass and fucking the
Shout out to Polish Princess.
listen. They have, like,
I don't even know what that
I don't
was,
know
but
what-
that's okay.
I don't know what the fuck that is, but they have the shit levels and they're like over there drinking wine. I'm like, this is fucking whack. Yeah, that's why when people say that, look, the new break dancers, they're doing dancing to techno and break that shit. Whack. No, whack. Your style's whack. Your skinny shit's too whack. Where I'm from, Adidas, Fat Lady. I want to wear.
You can't wear skinny jeans and do windmills. You can't do it.
How don't you people are just whack, bro. It's whack. It's like the new graffiti writers. Like they're like, yo, what's up? Listen, it's sad because I wrote graffiti my whole life. Me and them cute to kill shit, but I'm not known for. I got dope hairstyle, but I'm not known for that. I'm in documentaries. I do music. I'm known for just beating niggas down. And fucking, it's like all over the world. It's like fucked up.
Hey, yo,
I'm a musician.
Well, you know
nigga.
what's crazy is Graf used to be like that too,
Yeah.
where it was like beating niggas down,
Yeah,
and like
that's what it
beef
was.
and fighting. Like it was like I mean, we had some crazy stories of chasing. Like I grew up in Co-op City,
Yeah.
and I lived in an apartment building, and on my floor was like
Co-op City's fucked up.
10 apartments on my floor. And one day I wake up and my mother comes home and she's like knocking on my door, like banging, like, oh my God, look at the hallway. And dudes I had beef with blasted my whole hallway. And I'm like, I'm like, yo, how did they find out who I was? They yoked up some kid in my neighborhood and said, who was mad? And because I made a little name for myself, the kid knew who I was and said, oh, he lives here, and they blasted my hallway, and then we had to retaliate and do what we had to do.
I would say,
and it was crazy.
Well,
It wasn't
Yeah,
normal.
I do that
shit.
all the time, and it's fucked up because me and MQ got me in a lot of trouble, bro.
Yeah, well,
Like,
beef is
beef-
part of it. But these new era
Shout
street
MQ.
artists, dudes
Oh.
that paint murals, like, and even the new graffiti writers that have just come out in the last 10 years.
Oh,
there's no comprehension of the lifestyle that we had to live.
And they got attitude, they got
with
chips
the
on their
beef
shoulders. They got chips
and
on
the
their shoulders.
problems.
Listen.
And not only that, but you know what the difference? So let's talk about Graf for a second.
Yeah.
There's elements of Graf.
Yeah.
There's the artist element of Graf where you can piece and do colors and do something nice, which I was capable of.
Yeah.
But most of the time, motherfuckers push me into beef, and I had to just cross them out and go on missions. And no, listen, I had to go on missions to destroy their shit.
Yeah.
And it took away from my artistic side of things.
I know.
So if I did only beautiful color pieces all the time, then I would be like, oh, he's such a great artist. Look at the colorful stuff. But because I had to handle my beef half the time with people, that takes away from your painting colorful stuff because you're doing silvers and blacks over people. And there was nights that we would do a highway, like the Van Wyck.
Oh, my God.
We would do the Van Wyck going out to Brooklyn to do a train spot and then come back and our shit is crossed out. And it's like, damn, we gotta stop now and fix it.
Highways, remember Fib, Feck, fucking, as is, all on the fucking on the Belt
Look,
Parkway.
listen, highways was part like I said, it was like a full-time career.
Yes,
Not
yes.
only the trains, it was
Bridges.
It was your life,
And
right?
the racking too.
So-
Like
yeah,
stealing,
racking.
hold up.
stealing and racking was
Hold up.
like full-time job.
Can I
Like,
show you something?
What?
Tony 164.
Shout out to Tony
Shout out to
164.
Tony.
Tony
Shout out to Tony 164.
Shout out
BX.
to-
BX in the
Cuba.
house.
Who showed me how to
OG.
steal spray paint like this?
Listen.
Look, sleeve rack. Look, remember?
Yeah.
Spray paint like
Yeah,
this.
like this.
Look, sleeving.
We
Yo,
used
I
to-
was a master.
We used to
sleever.
steal beers like that
You're
too.
masterized.
You used to go in the beer case
Sleeve rack?
and like
Yeah.
right
The
in the
sleeve rack.
orange jacket.
164.
It would
Sleeve
slide
rack.
in.
Yo, listen, item racking. People don't talk about it. Like if you aren't racking paint, like a lot of spots used to get hot, right?
Yeah.
And like you go on missions, and we would eventually had a car, and we'd go to Long Island and
That's
Jersey,
my-
right?
that-
Go
that-
crazy. But item racking, and when it was like the downtime. To go rack your fucking tap shampoo and your fucking little items.
Oh, I
and-
did that for a living.
Vegas, you did it for a living.
I did that for me and PJ did that.
PJ.
But
Shout out
I'm
to
gonna tell
PJ.
you what, it funded. Listen, that type of shit funded
Graffitis?
This graffiti funded the lifestyle. Like it kind of like
Gateway
like
for
I,
crime.
like I said, it was like a lifestyle thing. But I
It
don't
was, it
want
was,
listen.
yeah.
I don't want to sit here and sound like a bitter old man and start like complaining about.
I do.
Look how the success of like the new writers, like how they go straight from college right to the fucking galleries,
oh my
right?
God.
I don't want but I'd rather like say this is like because of the time that we came up, there was always a bigger risk factor. There was. Even in the music breakdancing, it's like you putting your balls on the line.
Yeah.
You're putting everything on the line. And that's why we're so passionate about it. So don't mistake the complaining. It's almost just like we're trying to like educate the viewer as in do your research. Because a lot of motherfuckers will say they were there because they heard the stories over and over and they could put themselves into that story very easy. When they're around the company other writers, you could very much like catch that disease like, oh no, I was there, remember? I was there in the layer. No, you weren't there, man. But you got to pay homage to people that were and just the respect. It always came down to the respect.
It's street. It's like when you hear stories about all the stuff. My thing is always respect. That's why when I met you, I had beef with Ghost and all the risk kids, and I know you were down with them, but and we were like, yo, whatever. And when I fought Ghost, after that, when I see Ghost now, we shake hands. And I looked up to Ghost when I was a kid. Like this is crazy. I looked up to Ghost. I looked up to Jimmy 131. A lot of people I had beef with. I looked at EA for Risk. I rode on his house.
Well, I'm sure. Listen,
a lot of these things I rode on
I'm
their
sure
house.
a lot of like.
Oh, we can go there too.
Listen,
Like if we
dude,
need
all
to.
the
but
time, I looked up to them. Looked up to them, and I never changed history. If someone says, shout out to Saint TMR and stuff like that. Listen, a lot of people when they get fucked up, especially people in my crew, like yo, don't give no props to anyone out. GMS, all. I'm like yo, listen. I tell you how it is. If I fought Ghost and we fought for a half hour, and I just say, yo, he was a bitch. And I said, yo, we fought for a half hour. I did what I did. He knows what I did.
PJ fought Ghost too.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, Ghost is a tough
Ghost is
man.
scrappy.
White trash warrior.
Ghost is scrappy.
He's done his time and
Yo.
he's done his thing.
Yo.
And
Shout out to Ghost.
He's
Shout
a
out to
real
Ghost,
dude.
Rich.
Shout out to Ghost.
Now, but listen, but let
Real
me stop,
dude.
Stop 1 second. Stop. But yo, what?
From the Bronx.
But listen,
Real dude. Ghost.
But listen, we're all just old fucking hockey players.
Yeah.
We are. We're fucking hockey players. Like, yo, graffiti writers are just like fucking hockey, man. It's like,
But the difference is that nowadays, right? So let's think about the current state of art and the art world.
Yeah.
So nowadays, it's like Art Basel and these murals and these buildings and these people that get into the graffiti. They use spray paint because spray paint fills in spaces quicker. But they're not graffiti artists. Like, the thing is this. Growing up in the Bronx, growing up in Brooklyn, we grew up.
But Kaves is a real artist.
No, and what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying, like,
I like to think I'm a real artist too, motherfucker. What the fuck? Okay, all right. Kaves is the only real artist here in the show right now. Kaves.
Man,
I always told you had the dope style, and you're like, I'm not known for it. I said, no, but you
I
are.
don't care.
Hell yeah.
But Kaves, you give Kaves a fucking palette and he has a rose in his thing. He can do Titanic and draw a French girl.
But what I'm trying to say is this: that the current state of affairs in the art world and the way things are is that people that really spent their life doing this and really put it in for reasons not for financial stability or gain.
Shout out to Revs.
And the thing is this: nowadays, everyone wants to be a famous artist and wants to bank off of the money and wants to be.
The first one was like John 156. He went to France and he made his
listen,
thing, right?
God bless. And Cause FC. That's I'm down with. I'm FC, and it's all good. But what I'm saying is that, we come from an era that the shit we did was not for that purpose. Like, that we never went to a train or a layup or a train yard because we were like, oh, we're going to make millions. We're going to be this, like, famous street artist. We did it because we did it as a culture growing up. And nowadays, it's a little twisted, and there's a lot of people doing it because it's cool to do. Or, like, I'm an artist. I graduated from art school, and a spray can can fill in the space more, and I can know how to control it. I'm a graffiti artist.
It's these street culture stuff, like this outlaw art. And we're involved with a lot of aspects of it. Our music, our tattooing is another thing where people go. They come and they're skipping the pay your dues part.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. They're going right from when I met that like college. They're going right from being stepping up and learning, but forgetting about the career in between.
But you know what, Mike?
Yep.
The paying your dues part is what makes us who we are.
True.
And who we are. Like if I didn't go through the paying your dues stages of life in
builds
Graf,
character for sure.
Then
that's the point we're trying to make. It's like
fake.
I'm not sitting here trying to be the old grumpy old man and I'm just trying to say
you are an old grumpy man.
I'm getting old, but no.
Just joking.
What I'm trying to say is that it's important for these podcasts. It's important to tell your story. It's important. It's important for people to understand
the realness of where we come from. You know what? I'm gonna just say one thing real quick. That me linking up with you was because of Jest, and Jest was a kid that when I was locked up,
I remember
he was doing his thing with TVT. When I came home, he was putting up MPC, and I was like, who is this kid? I got to meet him. And then I met him. And
he killed Highways.
Right? So Jest is the cause of me and you getting into business together and being friends.
Is he Jewish?
No, he's not. He's Cristofaro. He's Italian.
Yeah.
But he is the
shout
link.
out to Jesse A-Life.
He is the link. Like when you look at things in life, you look at the stepping stones of how people interact and meet each other and how things come together, like how the links are. And Jess was my link to you.
Yeah.
My link to you was my link to Corey and Tavi and Isaac and everybody else.
Danny Boy.
And Danny Boy. And so it's crazy in the sense that when you're real and you just know, like, things just fall into place.
Fuck a social network. It was our street network.
That's
our street network.
That's how I know.
Yeah, I call it asphalt athletics.
And before any social media was the trains and the fucking getting up and putting your name on it. All city.
Well, you know what? The amazing thing is that it comes back to like artwork created by kids for kids. Like these cultures that we're talking about with like thought up by children in the city. You know, that hard knock lives, rough lives.
Right.
Didn't matter what you were, what your background was, what color you were, because the true kids played in that fucking sandbox together. And yes, there's beef and there's all of that shit, but like I said, there's beef between the Yankees and the Red Sox.
No,
but motherfuckers are still players, right?
Yeah.
But there's no real Hall of Fames to kind of anoint because I'd much rather see Elite Creonas get paid millions of dollars for those paintings than I'd rather see somebody that just fucking that just kind of came in and did the 3-card Monte and found their way into
there's dudes. Listen. Right. Like how we are, then you got guys on the West Coast. And when I moved, when I got signed by Travis Barker, I moved to the West Coast. There's a whole DMS chapter in the West Coast, 2 of them big ones.
Risky.
Shout out to Risky, my man Risky.
Yeah. Risky, you crazy man. Shout out to Scene. Because Scene gave me the opportunity when I came home from prison.
In the world.
And he put me on and let me tattoo. And Tuff City, just for the world to know, Tuff City was Scene had a T-shirt printing shop downstairs that was called Tuff City Tees. And when I was locked up, I would look at the tattoo magazines, and it would be ads for Tuff City Tees. And so when I came home, Scene said, "Oh, don't go house to house, like tattoo with me." And he put me on. And
See,
then,
that's dope.
And then,
That's awesome.
Yo, Scene. Yo, shout out, Scene, always. But he put me on, and before there was a name for the shop, I said, yo, let's call it Tuff City Tattoos because you had Tuff City Tees and it sounds good. And we named it that. And then he put Tuff Tattoo Scene later on, and I kept Tuff City on some piece shit. But, you know, if it wasn't for him and it wasn't for his, like, you know, like mentoring me, I wouldn't be where I am. So, and even for my name of Tuff City and the shop that we have and my crew, it wouldn't be in place if it wasn't for Scene. So, shout out to Scene.
And and these are things that are crafted by cats that are from fucking humble beginnings that were like the odds were against a lot of these city kids and these graffiti writers, these
the people first of all, for being from Queens, Bronx, and Brooklyn, the dudes that hung out in the city hated us. They're talking about like downtown, so it was even crazier. To even like they were like, oh yeah, bridge and tunnel and stuff like that to me. I'll be like, I'll knock you right out fucking back to the bridge right now, motherfucker.
Well, and it's nice to know that there's, a world and a community that evolved from it, and it's a big business now. It's a fucking large.
Some people,
right?
Like, I'm so happy that you guys are business minded. And doing your thing, and you guys have family.
But that's not why we did this.
No,
that's the thing. That's the thing that everyone got to understand is that there was never a motivation in any time I rode on a train or a highway or a wall with Fade or with anybody in my life.
Shout out to Fade.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fade.
Well, you know what? It's like this.
My partner always.
It's like what Med's saying right now. We were survivors, right? And we needed a voice. And luckily we found it at an early age with the graffiti. And what graffiti taught us was hands-on training, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to school for this shit. We learned marketing and we learned branding at its best, at its finest, under the most fucking difficult times.
Yeah.
Like beef, our parents, cops and rats and this and that.
Hands-on experience.
Listen, hands-on experience. And we built these communities and then found vocations and careers and lifelong careers between the tattooing and the music on how to take that spark and inspiration and turn this into something like fucking true New Yorkers, man. That's like knickerbocker motherfuckers, man.
For me,
you know what I mean?
it got me in trouble because hanging out with derelict graffiti writers.
But listen,
like
but I'm going to tell you.
Hanging out with derelict graffiti writers like Isaac could get you in trouble. Like, like being a kid that you want to be a good kid, but you get with the wrong crowd. This is what happens in New York.
It's called the struggle. It's called the struggle. Like, life is a fucking struggle. And we're survivors in the struggle, and we built something out of it, and we still struggle. Everybody fucking struggles.
That's
but
right.
Up to downs, good and bad.
I'm not paid.
But
just so everyone knows.
Yeah, y'all.
It's still a rough life.
Yeah, y'all. Listen.
So are you then, for that matter. It's a rough life.
What I'm saying, it's the struggle, and you just the way you look at it. If you look at it as a beautiful struggle, because we only get your fucking this time on the planet, short time, and you're gonna struggle. And if the price of struggling and the price of grief is love, right? If someone told you, yo, you could love and you're gonna have these passions and you're gonna find love, but the price of the love is gonna be fucking pain and grief, would you sign up to love? Damn fucking straight you would.
And what I want to say in adding to what Mike just said is that it goes back to what is a common saying. If you love what you do, it's not work. And you know what? As much as dealing with graffiti writers in my business and dealing with the drama of even tattoo, like artists that have their quirks and it's like all in all said and done,
you're your own
boss,
I
wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it for anything because
you're your own man.
It's like I could deal with the stresses of those things to be where I'm at doing what I love. And so it's a blessing. And
we're real people. I look at. I want to say something right now. People might get mad, but I'm just that's what I do.
That's the only way to go on this show.
Yeah, so check this out. On the East Coast, we do it for just what we are. When I went to the West Coast, these dudes were doing permission walls. I never even heard that shit in my life. A permission wall. That's like, and they were like, hold on. I'm like, yo, bro. And that's why I love when I used to go to like
I'm gonna say right now, out there, Risky is my West Coast artist. Also, he's DMS. He's my brother, Risky. He's part of my thing. Shout out to Risky. He's one of the best. Risky's making money.
West Coast artist.
He's killing it. He's a real motherfucker. And when he goes, he does these things with these dudes out there, and they're all very proper, and they're like, hey, this is how. I'm like, I'm sitting there. I'm like, one time I was sitting there, it was like, it's like, shout out to like Saber, shout out to
Saber.
Revoke. I remember one time sitting there.
Bless, AWR.
I was talking to all those guys, and I was like, yeah, but so this is, this is RD, and they're like, who's that? I was like, how the fuck you don't know who the fuck RD is? The biggest white trash warrior out there. Like I'm saying, like PK, these little white trash warriors that even though the crazy
PK went over my star on the Triborough Bridge, and you know what? I'm a little older now, and I'm not on some beef shit. But let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you the story. Me and Sess went to the Triborough Bridge. Shout out to Sess. Sess is my brother.
That's a real artist.
Sess is my brother. But me and Sess went to the Triborough Bridge, and Sess was on the side, on the service road,
right by police station.
Sess was on the service road,
That's a police
and
station right there.
I went up that whole thing on the Triborough Bridge, and I did that Med Star, and I didn't put Med in it, I put Sess in it for him because he was watching my back, and then PK Note went and filled in my star and put PK Note, and I'm like, dude, for a guy that's writing for so many years, respect would be like, let me not go over Sess's shit in there. Let me not do that.
People crazy. Listen, listen.
Sasha mentioned PK, and I still like. Listen, I might be an older dude.
He hit me last night.
But yo, dude, I'm still on some. If I see him, I might set it just because that's how I get down. Like, I'll squash the beef. I'm gonna put it on.
I'm gonna tell you a little story about PK a long time ago. I learned how to write graffiti from PK. Like because I went to Bryan High School, I went to junior high school 10, and I was like, I'm from Jackson Heights, so I had to go over there story people. And KK1 is the one that told me how to write. I'm talking about like this graffiti. All those guys know me. Then they had beef with the TMR guys. Then one time, and then they were like, oh, yeah, whatever. And you know when you first get to graffiti, people try to stun you. They started me. I was a little kid. Then when they had TMR, then when I started popping off with DMS in 87, 88, 89, 90, they're like, yo, man, I see you up all the time. Oh, now you're my boy.
Yeah, because they're scared of you at that point.
Because I was killing.
But, yo, how is dude going to go over me on that Triborough? Yo, seriously. Yo, I paid my dues. You going to go over me on a Triborough Bridge spot?
That's old man beef. Go
to the bar. It can get set off any time.
Old man beef can get dangerous.
You know what? Listen, you know what? I try.
Graffiti beef will never die.
I try in my life at this point to not base my life and my decisions on ego.
PK note,
serious.
Man,
like,
PK note, I'll squash the beef. But check it out. But the thing is, like, the same thing. Like, it's like
call him up right now.
How many people are knocked
Get him on the show.
How many people are knocked out for MQ?
I want to talk to him.
Yo,
but listen,
call him on
crazy.
speakerphone. Right?
I want to talk to him. Yo, we could shoot a fair one. We could shoot a fair one.
Shout out to MQ.
That's for the Diablo.
MQ gets the shout out. MQ. Real rider.
That's for the pay-per-view.
Real rider. He will rob your whole house.
We're saving that for the pay-per-view.
Yeah. So what's? All right, let's all right. Everyone cut.
So back to the graffiti's dysfunctional family.
Oh, it's so dysfunctional, though.
But it is. But
what's
listen.
worse, tattoo artists or graffiti? Because to me, tattoo artists that whack, like tattoo artists like the new guys with the fucking stupid mustaches and the fucking thing in the beard and the motherfuckers think they're rock stars.
Yeah, but my guys are hood guys, so we're from the hood. So my crew is definitely hood. Phil Flash, shout out to Phil Flash.
Oh, Jackson.
Shout out to Phil Flash. Phil Flash is like the standout in the crew because he's like hardcore.
Mariah.
I guess Brooklyn probably took the worst hit of people coming in from
other
places.
Oh wow!
And I mean, listen, there was a time when Brooklyn wasn't cool. You looked at as like a bozo, or you looked at as like fucking welcome back, like a sweat hog,
Yeah.
But then motherfuckers came along and changed that, and made that shit cool.
Well, we're still looked at. We're still looked at that.
It's like punk rock,
listen. So the fact is that you could dress up for for the role, But if it ain't in your heart,
No.
tattooing or writing or
Most of these
whatever
graffiti
else.
writers, most of the graffiti writers down there are from out of state. They're like, yo,
Well, here's a
bro.
funny story.
And-
So
and-
some guy hit me up recently up on the gram. He was like, "Hey, I seen you made a comment one of these graffiti posts, right?
Yeah.
There was a graffiti post, and one of these what you writes or one of these kind of things or whatever, and he writes Kaves. And he writes Kaves with a C.
Oh God.
So and he's not a he's got skills. He's not a bad artist at all.
No.
He's doing freight trains and he's doing he's putting in some work. He's got a couple of them, but I wrote question mark, right? Like the little graffiti cat in me got my ego, my feathers got ruffled and shit because I spent a lifetime being Kaves.
Yeah.
Right. So he's like, yo, I get it. I just came across your work.
What?
I just came across it
Where's
now.
you from? Oregon?
Yes. Something like that. Yeah. Milwaukee.
Shout out to Oregon.
Milwaukee,
Shout out to
maybe.
Oregon.
Fuck Oregon.
Listen, Milwaukee or something.
Minnesota.
The weed is
Oregon.
legal in Oregon.
Yeah, listen, Oregon, Minnesota, anything. This shit's all whack. All right, New York's the only place. New York City, I don't give a fuck. All right, so tell me what happened.
So he hits me up right away. Right away, I got all fucking I got all like mad and pissed. Like, whoa, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like one finger typing, like I was doing Lordz, like everything
caps,
was caps. All caps. I'm fucking yelling at you. I all capped him. I'm like, are you kidding me? He's like, yeah, I just I seen you made a comment. I did research. He's like, damn, I could see why you're all capping me right now. And
Oh, my
and
God.
he's like I was like, yo, not for nothing, but back in the day, graffiti writers, there's a code of honor among thieves. You don't write somebody's fucking name that's still active. Now I don't think I ever put down my name and said, okay, if it would be to my son. He would be the next Kaves in line, right?
Right.
But the fact is that he didn't even bother to do the research.
Yeah, that sucks.
And like the
They
real
got-
research.
Yo, they love the
It's-
research. Google.
and, like, listen,
They're all about research.
And listen, and I'm telling you.
Let me Google this.
Yeah. Well, you put in your blood, sweat, and tears. You get arrested for the shit. You got mad beef over.
Stabbed.
You lose the fucking a tooth or two or whatever. There is a pecking order and there is a rules of engagement and shit.
Yeah,
So I told him, yo, put a fucking number and take away the S.
Yeah.
And he hit me back he's like, yeah, I got mad respect, no doubt. But then he hit me back 10 minutes later after marinating. He's like, nah, I put too much work in on these freight trains to stop the name. I said, okay, then you fucking make your bed and you'll lie. You'll lie in the bed because if those freight trains come this way, somebody might come out of Hobby Nation and get smashed.
The difference is a dude like you may say, okay, well, go do what you got to do. But a dude like me might be wanting to scheme on, well, where's he live?
No, well,
where's
listen.
he at?
Well,
Hold
here-
on, I'm gonna send some fucking
Well,
thugs
yo,
over there.
well, listen.
Yo,
Put that shit
that dude is definitely gonna press
Boom,
charges on you.
send the bomb.
He's
Well,
already
listen-
he's already a restraining order on you.
Well,
right
listen.
Stuff like that.
Well, the truth is that as soon as I got popped in '85, they knew who Kaves was, right? So it was like, okay, there wasn't gonna be a much trained career after the '85. But then I was just like, all right, so how am I gonna put the same energy and the same, fucking? So I put it into MCing and I put it into all the other things. Being a graffiti writer, being a graffiti artist, it's not just it's not one dimension. It's fucking,
No.
it's 6 dimensions, man.
Shout
You
out
put
to
it-
the B-boys.
You put it into, being a b-boy, right? Be like
The 8th dimension.
And listen,
Robot?
Yo,
Yo,
it's crazy.
that's right.
Nobody would ever understand.
Yo,
They
so-
couldn't.
yo.
They couldn't understand.
So the truth is this. I'm a career artist, man.
Yes.
This is a life thing.
Career-
I'm a
right?
career criminal.
I'm a career criminal too.
I like
I'm
that.
joking. I'm joking.
I like
I'm
that.
joking.
I like that.
I'm joking.
So-
career
so-
criminal joking.
I got my hands and feet in both the worlds.
Right. This is what Hey,
Yo,
hey, listen.
it is what it
Hey,
is.
I got nothing to say about all that stuff. I'm like this.
Right here tonight,
I'm like
it's
this.
love. It's love.
Yo,
Hold on.
I don't do that.
Oh shit! This
Oh,
nigga just
shit.
exposed himself.
Oh,
The fro is fucking
Oh.
crazy.
And my grandfather said 2 things.
Are
to
we
me.
gonna take a 10-minute piss break or what?
Yeah. Hell
We
yeah.
only got a couple more minutes left
Oh,
in
we
this
don't-
episode anyway.
I'm gonna try to hold it. I'm gonna try to hold it in.
As we've been moving along
Oh,
here.
all right, so what you want to talk about? This is crazy. Wait, finish what you had to say.
No, I was just gonna say I don't do any of that on this.
Oh yeah.
No, and that's probably for the best.
That's probably for the best.
I do. Before we exit, though, I do want to talk a little bit
Your bar.
about
Plug your bar.
your
My
bar.
God, yeah,
and,
pizza.
and pizza. So, as we know, everybody
And it's
here.
good. I've been there.
So go
It's
ahead,
very
plug
good.
the spot real quick.
Well, the last couple of years of my life has been I built like a crazy. Speaking of jails, criminals and jail cells, I built a
Not me, not me,
I
not
built
me.
a beautiful jail cell. Anybody gets into the restaurant business, you
Yeah.
got you got to
That's
be
hard,
half
that's
you
hard.
got to be half crazy. But like I said, like anything I take on as that 12-year-old kid and graffiti writing, spray paint wielding, and I said, fuck it, let's
Head on.
Like we're survivors. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna work it out. But as a kid growing up in Bay Ridge, bars and pizzerias was like it was in the Guinness Book of World Records for having the most in the fucking world, right? So I had a love for pizza and yeah, man. I was just like, my son came to me and he's of the age where he was going to college. And God bless, he's going to college.
Wait a
right?
second. Wait.
All
What?
right,
What?
All right, Blaze. So
Blaze?
So
What?
Blaze. Yeah, Blaze goes to college.
Oh,
Right?
I'm getting old.
Yeah,
Blaze.
yeah.
I feel old now.
Oh man.
Yo.
Oh my God.
Yo,
Yeah, huh?
and the crazy shit. My son Dylan the other day, he's 11. He got on the fucking principals list, and I said, "You're the first fucking person in this family to get on the principals list
for not being in trouble.
for the right reasons."
Right. Not the slips that come in the mail.
And my father Bones would be going, "Oh, wait, no." Listen,
Yeah.
man.
Tell your dad I said what's up.
So, yeah, he'd be pissed off. He's like, "Oh, he's in the dean's office." He'd go bail him out, and but the truth is that my son was like, "Nah, I thought he was gonna follow my footsteps as an artist or whatever." He goes, "Nah, I want to be a chef."
Oh, dope.
He said, Dad, you inspired me on like Sundays cooking the meatballs and the sauce and carrying on my mother's tradition and my grandmother's tradition of
Lordz of
carrying,
Brooklyn.
of
Lordz
carrying
of
on,
Brooklyn.
carrying on this
Bay Ridge.
but putting people together on a Sunday in your in the house. Sundays is you put together the sauce, you put together, and the family comes together to tell those stories. If it's folklore or fucking Paul Bunyan stories, if it was Uncle Jack coming over telling fucking crazy stories, you want to keep that kind of tradition alive where family gets together, looks each other in the face, and shares. So that pizzeria to me, I was like, fuck it, there's a pizzeria in my neighbor called Lentos. It was there for fucking decades and decades. It was famous.
Is that what the midget was?
What?
Remember the midget with the look like Grande?
Yeah, where was that?
By your house. Remember the midget?
Yes. Oh, yo, that was in the Slick Rick video. Yo, Slick Rick, Little Jimmy. Little Jimmy. Shout out to Little Jimmy. Rest in
Shout out to
peace.
Grande.
Rest in peace. Grande was selling the cheese that time.
Grande.
He's giving out samples. The Grande mozzarella.
We love Grande.
Yo, Little
That's
Jimmy
our
was in the
peoples.
Slick Rick video. He was the little cat, the little people from the Slick Rick video. So
That's
anyway,
awesome.
but the fact is like there was this neighborhood restaurant called Lentos, and it was there since the 1930s. And my grandparents lived on 86th Street on top of Hinches, and like, we're generational in that neck of the woods. So we like, let's keep tradition. That Lentos Pizzeria came for sale, and we jumped on it, and it was
That's
crazy.
awesome.
So Lentos was like one of those things, and I was like, wouldn't it be
Shout
nice
out to Kaves.
Wouldn't it be nice to carry on tradition with my family and my sons and keep grandma's tradition alive and just keep, do something like I said, bringing families together and not looking into their fucking phone or not looking into and talk to each other, right? And tell stories and shit.
Hey, how you
Right.
doing? Hey,
So
hey,
we
hey.
opened up this pizzeria. It's 2 years. It's been open. Knock on wood. We make we're competitive
And
with
the
our
food
pizza.
is great.
We're very fucking
Music,
competitive.
great music.
Did you plug the address and the website for everybody?
It's called the Brooklyn Firefly, and that's 7003 3rd Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. And Instagram, the Brooklyn
Great
Firefly.
food.
What your Instagram's Mr. Kaves?
Mr. K spelled MisterKVES, and it's with a K, not a C.
All right.
and then Med, what have you been working on? What do you
Me?
Med,
Listen, what have you been working
what
on?
have you been? What do you got coming up for the?
What do we got coming up? So we're doing a treatment right now for a pilot for a graffiti show.
Awesome.
that we're trying to kind of give like Ink Masters twist on graffiti.
Check this out.
It's called the King of Graffiti.
Yeah.
And so we're working on that right now. And
Tell me about you worked in reality TV. Tell me about what TV shows you worked in reality TV.
well, my history with reality
Well, come on,
TV
tell me-
is
tell
a
me.
little crazy.
Come on.
It's on some hip hop shit with VH1 and Black Ink, but
Yeah.
but
Man,
it was
man.
cool. I had some fun. It was cool.
Man.
There was a lot of really serious, like aside from the reality TV show thing, there was some real
You
problems that
snuffed
happened
the shit
behind
out
it.
of someone.
Well, we don't want to get into the violence, but the point being is that because of the show, like when people watch these shows on TV, they think that it's like fake or it's like television, but there's reality behind it, and there was a lot of reality behind the situation with me being on that show.
Yo, listen, we're real people. We're real people. So when
I think so.
When stuff happens with me and you, we have a certain thing. We look at each other, and we just laugh about stuff. But
we handle our
we
business.
handle our business. The same time when I got a phone call from you from homeboy did a piece, and the second he walked out, I just this whole piece. Do you remember that?
Yo, shit, it gets crazy.
Gets
it does.
crazy.
It does get crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think like I'm trying to be older. I'm trying to be at peace.
No,
but yo,
no,
it
no,
comes
no,
back
no,
to
no,
me
no, no,
like,
no, man, people should not step over that line. You know this. I put a
But
line right
people
here.
do, like,
and,
there's-
and they should get their fucking face smashed.
Well, I'll call you up and we can make that happen. Like that's it. A simple
That's it,
phone
that's
call
it.
and we'll make that happen.
That's I'm just saying. It's like nowadays, everyone has cameras everywhere. That's the whole thing with us. We're real people, and they understand it's a double-edged sword to sign us to music. Because,
Yes,
like,
yeah,
Because
yeah.
they want to do all this dude's like everyone thinks that
They don't like the hood in us,
Oh,
but
no,
they
but-
want
but-
they want the
Right.
money in
you know,
us.
it's the same thing. Like all these rappers, most of these rappers are pussy. You know, and I tell you straight up. I play with these dudes, but
You don't want me to get started on
No,
that
listen,
because
man,
there's
man,
some stories.
Man
that
pussy,
we-
but man pussy, and I always like laugh when people in Japan would come to the United States and see me at Bill Spector's party. Like, what are you doing here? And like I'll be like, see the owner there? If he has a problem, I shut this whole shit down. You know, like I beat up all your favorite rappers.
Yeah.
They don't know.
They don't stand the hardcore punk
They
dudes.
don't know.
Essays, they don't listen to fucking rap. They listen to oldies. They listen to Morrissey. But that's how hard they are. Listen to Morrissey and beat and shoot you 3 times in the face. Gangsters don't listen to rap. They listen to oldies. Right?
Gangsters
what-
come in silence.
Yeah, you don't talk about what you did. You don't do stuff like that. You do it. You don't be like, yo, it's a whole fucking fake facade. You know what I mean? It's like people from my neighborhood, little glasses, everything. You be like, yo, people are looking pussy. That guy will stab you in the throat 3 times and go to sleep, and then won't even lose sleep.
Yep.
Yo,
Fact.
Never judge a
Exactly.
book for its cover.
remember
listen.
our road trip to Florida? Me, you, and Med
Oh,
and
God.
Scam
Oh,
Dust.
Shh. Yo, you can't. We can't
Shout
tell
out to
these stories
Scam
on air.
Dust.
We can't tell something.
Scam Dust.
Scam Dust. Scam
Scam Dust.
Shout out to Scam Dust.
That's
That is
just
my
like-
brother.
No,
The system.
we had
The
fun.
system.
Yo,
The
crazy.
system.
And
The
the
system.
outlaws. The
system.
outlaw shit was crazy, dude. That was really
All
crazy.
right, listen, no
And
names,
sit-
but real shit.
Yo, sitting there at the table, I was like really bugging out. Like sometimes in life.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Yo, I've been through so much shit, but sometimes in life, when you encounter situations, no matter what you've been through, you're like, wow, holy.
My whole life is that.
Like, yo, craziness. But you know what? Shout out to Scam Dust and shout out to
the system.
The system.
the system. All I want to say real quick in ending the show is that, you know, I'm blessed with the ability through Kaves to have met Isaac and Scam and all these guys and to
Shout
be
out to
happy
Tavi.
to have
Yeah,
and
shout out
to-
to
Tavi.
and
Tavi.
Tavi and Corey Shaw.
Tavi.
Shout out to Corey Shaw. But what I'm saying is I'm blessed to have been in the circumstances to have gotten the ability to go with you and fucking Scam to Florida to film that shit.
Yo,
with-
that shit was so
Yo,
crazy.
what I'm saying
No,
is
that
that
was the craziest
these are things in
thing.
my life that if it wasn't for Mike and it wasn't for the circumstances that made shit happen,
It's
It wouldn't have happened
what it
with
is?
me.
Music is positive energy.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
graph. And the
PMA.
graph.
And-
And the
and listen,
graph. And the
20
graph.
and look, we're all here.
PMA.
We're all
PMA.
Listen, we're all sitting here 20-something years plus later and still reminiscing over it. And Lords of Brooklyn got a new record out right now.
Yeah.
My
Bad
brother,
racket.
my,
Shout out to the
listen,
Bad Racket.
My brother,
Add money,
my
shout
brother
out Add
Adam
money.
fucking cooked the sauce once again.
Yes,
and
sir.
fucking came up with that shit.
Yes, sir.
But
yes,
yo,
sir.
one of the best producers slept on like a motherfucker.
Plug the Instagram
Yes, sir.
for Lords of Brooklyn.
Lords of Brooklyn. Shit. Just put that shit in. Lords of Brooklyn.
All right.
With a Z, S, whichever way you want to spell. But the new record's called Family Reunion because we have the original lineup back together for some crazy shit. And even my little brother Andrew
Shout out to Andrew.
that performed on the record at 6 years old and now at 30, a
Yes, kids,
firefighter with two, but spits venom. And I'm gonna
Dope.
I'll put him up against any one of these any cat. And my 15-year-old, you want to talk about that trap shit? Yeah. My 15-year-old is on that shit too. And my nephews, my nephews, man, it's following in not only in the fucking pizza, it's following in the footsteps. It's gonna be here another 25 years, another 100 years, God willing. And this guy to my left, Med,
Man,
fucking,
I love you, bro.
Man. BX.
He's definitely one of a kind, fucking pioneer, fucking trailblazer, and to you guys here, thank you for
Diablo
having me.
and Jay.
And all I want to say in finishing this show off is that if it wasn't for you, Mike, there wouldn't be a lot of the situations that I have in my life.
And it wasn't for Isaac, we wouldn't be here. The guys pulled us out of more trouble than.
And what I'm saying is that, like in all reality, it's been a blessing to know you in my life and to have you as
Like,
a
I love
friend.
you guys. I love
I
you
love
guys.
It's been a
stuff like
blessing to
that.
have you as a friend. And yo, the whole crew, love.
Do you-
Always,
love you guys.
like Tavi and Corey and
it's a
and Mike.
Woodstock anniversary
Yo.
this year too.
Oh, shit.
Summer love.
That's how shit goes down, you know.
Hey, yo, my grandkids say, yo, Papa, you look mad fat in this
If you want to
CD
see,
cover, but it's not me.
I gotta
DJ
piss. I
Roman.
gotta pee, so let's
all
wrap
right.
it
So
up.
listen.
Wrap it
on
up.
that note, we're gonna end episode 3.
Shout
I
out to
want to
Ronan.
shout
I
out
love you,
to
Ronan.
Jay,
Caves
thank
and
you.
Med for joining us
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
Shout out to DJ Lord Jewish.
Lord
Shout out to
Jewish.
DJ Kaves.
Yeah.
So guys, make sure you go to diablosdenpodcast.com. Join the email list to get the episode sent straight to your inbox. Like us on Facebook. Make sure you like, share, rate, subscribe on all of the crazy things. We will see you guys soon for episode number 4. So thank you guys again.
TuffCityStyles.com.
We're gonna play-
TuffCityStyles.com.
We're playing a song right now with DJ Kaz and me. It's
I gotta
Shoot 'em
pee,
Up.
so I'm not listening to that.
Yeah. So, Malo,
No.
shoot him up.
Hold on. Keep it going through the.
Shoot the psycho round. What up? Shoot 'em up, just shoot 'em up, oh yeah. Show the DJ Kaves on the hook. Shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up, shoot 'em up, just shoot 'em up, oh yeah.
Shoot 'em up, just shoot 'em up. Shoot 'em up, just shoot 'em up. Oh yeah. Shoot 'em up, just shoot 'em up.